You just can't go around killing people.
Why?
What do you mean, why? 'Cause you can't.
Why?
Because you just can't, okay? Trust me on this.
Welcome to Wheel of Horror Sci Fi Summer, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses a sci fi movie and they discuss it. Today we're talking about the 1991 film Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which was directed by James Cameron. I'm your co host, Alec.
I'm Erik, and with us again is Nick Leone. Welcome back to the show.
It's good to be back. Thank you for having me.
Great to be back. It's great to see you. Yes, you look good. You look
Yeah,
fantastic.
thank you.
Oh, this is gonna get so obnoxious, off the first 2 minutes.
We're gonna annoy everybody.
We set the rule last time when we did Kindergarten Cop. We're like, no, we can keep the Arnold impersonations to a minimum.
Have we done an Arnold movie?
Yeah, Kindergarten Cop.
We didn't do Kindergarten Cop.
I mean, I'm sorry, Jingle All the Way, Jingle All the Way.
That was what we did, Jingle All the Way, and we're like, okay, we got 2 quotes per 2 impressions.
This movie is almost as good as Jingle All the Way. It's definitely
almost
as good.
Man.
It's close. Nick, you were gunning to get on Terminator 2. So what is your relationship with this movie? Tell us everything, dude.
Okay, so I actually saw Terminator 2 before I saw the original Terminator. I don't know if that's pretty common amongst folks, but
that's me too.
This was the action movie that I used to watch all the time. This was the action movie. And what was funny is that I actually saw this movie on TV, and I didn't see the uncensored version of this movie until probably well into my being 9 or 10 years old. It's crazy. And I remember always renting this movie at we call it the Sleeping Beach, but it's basically just a timeshare that my grandparents had because they had those in the 80s. And I would rent it all the time. Once we were going there, and it would blow my mind every time. It's just such a good movie. And now that we have Terminator 3 and Terminator Salvation and all these other really just shitty movies, it really makes you appreciate just almost, I hate to use the word perfect. I hate to use that word, but just how perfect Terminator 2 really is.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Erik, I think you and I have the exact same experience with this movie where this was my first R-rated movie.
Yep.
This is your first R-rated movie too.
Yep.
Well under 10 years old.
I'll one up you. I was 4 when I first. I didn't see the whole movie, but I saw glimpses of this movie. And the one scene I remember vividly is that scene of him hitting the jump with the motorcycle and the big truck chase, and he bounces a bunch. When I was 4 years old, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, to the point where I was in preschool or kindergarten. They're asking you what you want to be when you grow up, and I said a Terminator. True story.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
That's true. Yeah.
I want to ask you guys just straight up. I want to kind of gauge everybody's opinion on this movie. So I think this is 100% in the top 5 best sequels of all time. But I want to ask you guys, do you guys think this is the best sequel of all time?
For me, yes. I don't see a better sequel. Close second off the top of my head, Aliens, which is also on the Sci Fi Summer Wheel. Back to the Future 2 is another great sequel. I'm trying to think of other ones off the top of my head. This, to me, is the best sequel of all time.
I will echo what you're saying, that this is absolutely one of the best sequels of all time. But my personal opinion, I think it's right below Empire. There's Empire Strikes Back, Terminator 2, and then Back to the Future 2.
Okay, right.
In terms of sci-fi all around, this is definitely one of the best sequels ever. In terms of entirety of sequels in all of time, definitely goes Empire, Terminator 2, and then Godfather 2.
Godfather 2. That's another great one.
I was like, Erik, how'd you miss Empire, Erik? But then Nick,
I don't really. Both of those, all those Godfather and Empire are trilogy movies.
True. This is true.
That's where my brain kind of doesn't click in. For Aliens, that's a sequel, not a trilogy sequel.
Right.
Back to the Future is a trilogy, though. So I said that one. But I'm just trying to think. It's Star Wars is in its own category in my mind. It's just that's how I feel. But I always tell people my top 5 favorite movies, Lion King, Star Wars, as a whole, Back to the Future, Braveheart, Terminator 2. Is that 6? I don't even know what I just listed off. But
how dare you be imperfect?
regardless, we all keep this in very high standards.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this is okay.
Absolutely.
So we're all on the same page there. Yeah, this movie, Jesus Christ, like it made $500 million in the early
Mhm.
90s, and it's a sequel to a sci-fi movie that also had a 7-year gap in between those two movies, which is
What a gap. What a gap.
crazy.
Right?
But oh my God, there's so much to talk about. I don't even know where to start.
I just have one more thing I want to say too. I think there was a time when I was about 12 or 13 where I watched this every day for like at least a half a year, and I really got into Guns N' Roses. I don't know if you remember that phase, Alec, of my life.
yeah.
Like the summer of like 2001 or 2002, I was just like loving like Guns N' Roses. I remember 3 coming out and that being a
Yeah.
big deal in my life. And that was around that same time, like 12, 13. It was 4th of July weekend and I was at sleepaway camp at Camp Woodstock. Shout out any Woodstockers listening. And I was mad I couldn't go. And I remember enjoying 3, but I remember leaving the theater like, that was it? That was it
Right?
at the age of 13.
Yeah.
Like you said, the gap in between 1 and 2, and think about the gap between 2 and 3. It's going to be epic. But James Cameron wasn't involved. Edward
Mhm.
Furlong. I honestly, I mean, we can go into Edward Furlong too, but I kind of wanted him. I wanted him again.
Definitely. Edward Furlong
Yeah.
should have absolutely been involved with Terminator 3. The other guy being John Connor just was so flat to me, but like Edward Furlong was a very important piece of what made Terminator 2 just absolutely perfect. He was a great actor, and being a kid, that's not like putting that aside. He was so good. Like up until that point, like kid actors weren't really like taken seriously in my
Mhm.
opinion. Like the only kid actor that I think would be around that kind of area would
Mhm.
be like Macaulay Culkin, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good. Yeah. So I got a couple things about Edward Furlong. I mean, obviously he's Hollywood's bad boy. But to that point, John Connor's a bad boy, and I think James Cameron could see that Edward Furlong had that like punk ass kid in him.
Exactly, because he was a punk ass kid. Like
Yep.
Yeah.
he had that like 90s like man,
Yeah.
whatever.
Dude,
Exactly.
He
Exactly.
was Bart Simpson. He was like a real Bart Simpson
Yes.
kind of.
Yes.
And
And
it's funny because if you guys look, I never noticed this until this time when the T-1000 is looking through the police report. It says he's 10 years old in this.
yeah,
And
well, he's seen some shit too. So he's been around the block at a very early age.
yeah, but dude, imagine a 10-year-old stealing money out of an ATM, driving a motorcycle, all this stuff. So apparently this movie
Well,
takes place in 94. In the
Ah,
summer of 94, because he says, the Terminator says to me, like, in 35 years, you send me back. So I like did the math. I was like, okay, so 2029 would have been 35 years from 1994. And then that would have been 10 years from the first Terminator. So he's 10 years old in this.
unbelievable. It's that Kevin McAllister kind of a thing where he was supposed to be 9 years old in that movie too, and he looked like he was probably 12. Like how
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
you be not a preteen and do all
Yeah.
that crap?
I
Yeah.
think James Cameron wanted to hit home that this kid is a savant of
Yeah.
technology and cyber stuff. I mean, there's a scene with him in the arcade. Remember, Alec? And I don't know
Yeah.
what game. I think it's not Space
No,
Invaders.
it's
Galaga.
Mission Control.
He
Or
beats it,
Missile Command, maybe. Yeah.
Missile
and
Command. Yeah, because
he
it's
freaking beats.
shoots all
Yeah,
the
he
missiles and
freaking
shit.
beats it. And I love the idea that he cyberly steals money to go play video games, and the video games he plays are like war games, and he beats. So pretty much he's hacking to train. Like it's
Whoa.
the concept of that is crazy. Like
Oh yeah, I never thought of that.
I
yeah.
legitimately never thought of that either. I just thought he
Oh,
was
I'm
he was
gonna
a
drop
gamer.
knowledge. I'm gonna drop knowledge
Well,
today.
let's go through the movie then. So like, first of all, the opening of this movie, I like enjoy watching the credits with the fire just going and the music. Like
Oh, it's
Yeah.
most of the time
perfect.
you're like, the names are coming on screen, whatever. This is one where you're like, dude, don't fast forward through this. This is sick. And then it goes up to the Terminator's face and it looks so good with the flames, dude. I'm like,
They literally had flamethrowers burning the shit, like burning all the whole playground up. Apparently, it was a really tough scene to shoot because it was so hot, as
I
you can
bet.
imagine. But
Well, yeah, there's no CGI, so it's
yeah.
like, but then it goes
Well-
right into literally like a more realistic looking battle than most modern movies.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
oh my god, like the way that ship gets taken down where they shoot the rocket launcher and it crashes. I'm like, dude, that looks real. That looks so much more real.
That wasn't a real spaceship. I thought it was.
Had
Dude,
to be to some degree.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. Like James Cameron, especially, I haven't seen Avatar in a long, long, long time. But to see
Hmm.
what he can do with
Hmm.
very minimal CGI in the early 90s, it's so impressive.
It's funny with all the hype around James Cameron. I said this back before Avatar was coming out. I was like, it's gonna be the biggest movie of all time, which it was when it came out. And I said that in like 2006. I was like, James Cameron's directing a movie he's been working on for like 10 years. Like this thing's gonna be huge. This next one has Kate Winslet in it. It's all like underwater.
Oh,
I have a good feeling like he's gonna take one Avatar, which people are like, it's the most overrated movie of all time. Which, yeah, I mean, there's arguments too, like it's Pocahontas meets Dancing with Wolves, all this stuff. I have a feeling the second Avatar is gonna surprise us. I really do. He's a sequel guy. We know this.
hmm.
Aliens, get ready. I have a good feeling about Avatar too.
Piranha 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we had
Hot
to go
Shots
there.
Part 2.
We had to go there.
He did
No,
direct
but
Piranhas 2. Yeah, you're right though, Eric. I mean, I'm definitely gonna see Avatar 2. I wasn't blown away by the first one. I thought it was really cool, but still, this movie is his magnum opus, I think.
I
Hmm.
only saw it once in theaters,
Yeah,
and I thought that was enough.
yeah,
I didn't have to
But
watch it again. But yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
saw Avatar a couple of times in theaters. It blew my mind. The very first time I saw it, we burned a few trees, and it was unbelievable. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, I
I
guess.
saw it in Disney World, and we had like the 3D glasses. And honestly, I wish I didn't see it with the 3D glasses because mine got really greasy from my popcorn oil, and it kind of ruined the experience. I think that had something to do with it too,
What was
honestly.
popcorn oil doing on your
we,
glasses?
well, you eat popcorn, and then I got to put the glasses on, and then I put
Oh.
the glasses on. I'm like, fuck, I don't have glasses cleaner. And my whole right eye was just like blurry popcorn oil,
I was gonna
butter.
say you don't eat popcorn with your face, man.
I don't
Like-
know, man. I gotta, yeah. There's got to be a solution somewhere.
Well,
That's
speaking of
awesome.
glasses, that opening scene too, where Arnold gets his glasses, gets the clothes, gets all that stuff.
The
So
biker
good.
bar, the
Dude,
biker
So
bar.
good.
that scene is so intense and awesome. Like, first of all, he goes in there, everybody's checking him out, obviously, because he's naked. But when that guy, not obviously Arnold, we don't know he's a Terminator. Arnold's a huge dude. And that guy, that old dude, still has the balls to put that cigar out on him so fast.
You
He probably
forgot
thinks
to
he's
say
a
please.
tweaker or something. He's like, who the hell is this tweaker? Let's get him the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I need your clothes, your boots,
Boots,
and your motorcycle.
motorcycle.
Like right off the bat. And he's like, what the hell is this guy's deal?
Yeah.
And
You
then
forgot
it
to say
all,
please.
but here's the thing: when you're watching that for the first time, you don't know yet that Arnold's bad or
Right.
good. You know?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Exactly.
So it's like, oh, he's coming to kill John because that's what the first one was.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then even the scene where they all meet John for the first time, the two Terminators, you see Arnold take his shotgun out, and you're like, "Oh wait, I don't know what's gonna
There's
happen."
two. Yeah, exactly. People forget like when you see this the first time, you don't know. You think he's gonna kill John, and John has been trained by his mom. Like that's the bad guy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
So
dude, I know, I love that, I love that so much. And then obviously when she sees Sarah for the first, or when he sees Sarah, and she's freaking the fuck out, and then he just saves her, and I'm like, oh my god, I love
well,
this
I think
movie.
they programmed him to say that line.
Oh,
Probably.
absolutely. Because that's what Reese said to her the very first
Yeah.
time he met her.
But how would John? Oh, I guess maybe Sarah would have told John as a child, and then John would have known that in pro. It's just like, oh my god, there's so much going on.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. It's like we have to meticulously do the future and bring him back to the past and do these things that
Yeah.
it's so well written. It's so
Now,
well written.
I watched my DVD version of it, and I guess I have a special edition. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes long, so long. There was one scene that I forgot from it when Sarah's having the flashback to Kyle. Is that in the original?
That's a deleted scene.
Okay.
That's
Mhm.
where Michael Biehn comes back and reprises his role. James Cameron was so torn on keeping that in the film, and
Yeah.
he tossed it last minute.
That was the only scene I didn't remember. I was like, wait, what the hell? And then it's the DVD.
Oh,
I
there's so many deleted scenes. There's it's the extended edition. It's called. It came in like a 2-disc, like with a metal sleeve case, or
Yeah.
like a yeah.
That's what I had.
So it shows more of Sarah in the psych ward. Yeah, there's this
Mhm.
that scene with Reese where he comes to like visit her in like the dream of like the nuclear fallout, which is, I mean, that scene stays in your brain
So
forever.
ridiculous.
Like that to me is like nuclear warfare, the best depiction of it ever in any film ever. There's a scene where they take the microchip out of Arnold, like the one that Dyson made,
Yep.
and he has to like they can start to program him to learn.
Yeah, and they almost smash it.
And Sarah's like, let's just get rid of it, and
Yep.
John like stops it for the last second. And there's a scene with like Wolfie and Todd and Janelle, and them getting killed and stuff.
So that was the only thing I watched, that one scene where I was like, wait a second.
This
This
was
kinda
in
the only thing that doesn't make sense to me is when he takes over Janelle, when the T-1000 becomes Janelle, why is he cutting vegetables and stuff and, like, acting like a mom? Like, why does he care? Just kill fucking Todd.
well, I'll answer that right now because
Okay.
on the phone, John will hear that she's doing that, so he's trying to
Mhm.
make it seem like everything's normal. We're making dinner,
Sure. Okay.
right? I mean, that's how smart the T-1000 is. It knows like, hey, we're gonna like pretend like everything's
Exactly.
Yeah.
normal.
The one thing
But
though, it doesn't account for the dog barking, and that's what tipped off the
well,
T800 for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, the extended edition, they kill the dog,
Yeah, that's what
and
I watched, and he takes his collar and it says Max on it, so then he figures out the
so
T-1000 figures out, yeah.
so that's when Terminator 2 says the one thing he doesn't know right now is your dog's name. He knows
Yeah.
everything else. He doesn't know your
Right.
dog's name. So he says, "What's the dog's name?" And he goes, "Max." He goes, "How's Wolfie?" And Wolfie's just fine, dear. Wolfie, and that's when the Terminator hangs up. It's like your foster parents are dead. Like
Yeah.
boom,
Then the
cold.
next scene, you see the T-1000 go outside to the German Shepherd, kills it, and
Right.
rips its
Oh, right.
collar
That's it.
off.
That's it. Yeah, because the Wolfie's just fine because the dog's barking in the background, and then
Yeah.
and then he rips it, and then he
Dude.
realizes like they know.
Yep. He kills it so
Right.
fast too. It's literally like
Yes.
not even a second. His hand goes down, just snaps its neck, and then just rips off the collar, looks at it, says Max, and he's
Pulls the
like,
collar like through the dog's neck.
yeah, and he's just
Oh.
like, ah, shit, they know, but like doesn't care. Yeah, he's just like, ah, whatever. Like I'm still
Oh,
gonna
cool.
chase him.
On to the next.
Bonkers.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just think that the whole idea of Cyberdyne like covering this up sort of thing. And does Tyson know like
Yes.
he knows everything because
He does. He all he knows is that he doesn't know.
okay, because he was said when that other guy's like, "Hey man, like you need to like sign the thing out." And he just goes, he's like, "So like what is the thing?" He's like, "You know what they told me on my first day? Don't ask questions."
Yep.
So did someone tell him
He
that?
knows. Well, I think that's why he helps them because this has been his struggle working for this company. He doesn't know where the hell this came from. He doesn't know.
Mm.
His idea of this futuristic thing is supposed to be like, I want a pilot that's not hungover. You know, I
Right.
want machines that can help. I want a perfect doctor.
Yeah.
Like a doctor that can't make mistakes. That was his
Mhm.
idea. It went to warfare, which he didn't know until the T-800. Arnold takes his arm off and he says, you know, we're gonna talk. And that's when he has a change of heart because he believes everything they're saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In that scene that got deleted when Sarah's about to smash the chip, John even says to her in that scene, he's like, "We're gonna need proof. He's our proof."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Exactly.
"Oh,
Exactly.
that's why they cut that scene. That scene's so good."
Well, that's also like at the end of the movie, right? When all is said and done, and the T-800 like sacrifices, he's like one more microchip left. It's like we could just take that out of your brain, and we have all this proof.
Yeah.
We can do, but that's why James Cameron deleted that scene, I think,
Mhm.
because we would have thought like they could have just done that, but there's
Mm,
no evidence. There's nothing except carnage and the magma. There's nothing.
yeah. Yeah. There's nothing that can come back.
So the cops are gonna come and they're all screwed, but they know deep down like they just saved the world.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is funny. And I know Nick, you've obviously grown up in this area, and they filmed it in LA and in Long Beach and all that area.
Oh
Dude,
yeah.
that motorcycle chase scene through. Do you know what that is, Eric? Do you know what that's called? Where they were driving through?
I don't know. Is it like a tunnel or something? What is it?
So that's called the LA River.
Yeah.
That's the LA. They
Yeah,
drained it, or
that's
was it?
No,
no, that's just what
no,
it looks
no.
like. No, that's just the LA River,
That's
bro.
all. That's all the water that's left. Like,
Right now,
No.
that actually is more water than it's in it right now.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
not even
Jesus.
kidding because he drives through a puddle. I'm like, that puddle's not there right now.
Yeah, it's
No,
all
no,
just
it's bone
drought.
dry.
Jeez
Like
Louise.
the LA River, it's like areas where it has more water that looks like river-like, but the majority of it is just basically a big concrete basin that has maybe a 2 foot like little length that water continuously goes through. But no, it's basically just a giant aqueduct that's there to help with flooding water and like rainwater. When it rains, like the 3 days out of the year that it rains in LA, that's where all the water goes. But most of the time, it is usually just a dry like chasm that people can like live in or live next to or chase people down with big rig trucks.
That's
I
crazy.
always thought that was crazy because I remember seeing that in the movie, and then when GTA 5 came out, I was like, "This is like from Terminator." And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I moved here and I started going on hikes, and I look down at it now and I'm like, "Yo, that's from Terminator, man."
That scene also holds one of the like only true bloopers in the movie when you see like the windshield's been shot out and then it goes off the ledge and the windows are gone in the front and then it cuts to the T-1000 punching out the window. You watch it again, you'll see the window there, then it's not there, then it's there again.
Hmm.
It's the only thing that makes this movie not perfect in
I
my
just
mind.
love the very obvious stunt double that does the jump
Yeah.
on the
Oh yeah.
motorcycle.
Oh
He
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
hits it and then it's like Arnold just like,
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah.
Dude, he
Oh
nailed
yeah.
that though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
One of the lines that makes me laugh out loud the hardest is right when John Connor tells Arnold, he's like, "Hey, like you can't kill people, okay? You can't." And they get to that security guard, and the guard's just like, "Visiting hours are 10 to 4," and it's just like, it's just like,
Props him up.
like
Caps
imagine.
him.
He just shot out his knee. He's like, he's never gonna walk right again, but he'll
Oh,
live.
I
He'll
love
live.
that the guy's just going through the motion. He's like, "Jesus Christ, here we
Here,
go."
another Friday night. I wasn't supposed to be here. Like,
That just the way that it's edited for some reason makes me laugh so hard every time.
It's pretty damn
Yeah.
funny.
so this was 92. This came out, right?
91.
Right.
91.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park came out in 93, right?
Yep.
Hmm.
So this paved the way for Jurassic Park. The
Yeah.
CGI in this movie is totally groundbreaking. It made CGI what it is today.
Mhm.
With the T-1000 with the liquid metal, never seen before. Steven Spielberg making Jurassic Park was all totally like animatronics, and he had a headache because it didn't look good with the T-Rex. So what they did is a hybrid of animatronics, like the foot hitting the mud was a physical thing, but the
Mhm.
T-Rex, they hired the same people, the animators and stuff, to
Mhm.
do like the T-Rex and stuff, and forever and ever and ever changed CGI. Terminator 2, I think, was the groundbreaking movie. Jurassic Park followed shortly after. There's a line in Jurassic Park 2 where the animators and stuff made this joke as well. Or no, the puppeteers and stuff, the people that did like all the dinosaurs. There's a line where it says, "Our jobs are obsolete," and they say this because they're paleontologists. Then they used to dig dinosaur bones up, and it's like, "Our jobs are obsolete. No one's gonna care about dinosaur bones anymore because there's dinosaurs back." And it said, "Don't you mean extinct?" The
Yeah.
people that were doing the animatronics and puppets and all that stuff are thinking the same thing, making that movie. Our jobs are extinct because CGI is a real thing now.
Hmm. Oh, absolutely. It completely replaced like claymation and stop
Yep.
motion and all that stuff that really beforehand would have been like what they would have used. It's movies like Flight of the Navigator and Abyss that use the same effect that they
Yeah.
did in Terminator 2 with like this like liquid metal and like just
Yeah.
kind of bloop bloop
Was
bloop bloop bloop.
another
Like,
James Cameron movie for sure.
yeah, exactly. It absolutely paved the way for Jurassic Park and everything to follow. So the last time I watched this movie was just a few weeks ago, and I watched it on Netflix. And Netflix must have the like super duper brand new 4K Blu-ray version because the
It's good.
CGI looks so good. It's like 60 frames per second. I'm sitting there watching it like I'm watching it for the first time again. I'm just kind of like, what
Oh.
the
It's
flip? Like,
funny you say that because I had to watch it on Netflix too, and it looked amazing on Netflix. I have a DVD, the extended edition that we talked about, Alec.
Yeah.
I put it in. It said this DVD is unreadable.
Yeah.
It scratched to shit.
No,
dude. My
it's not,
Xbox.
Eric. It's not because it said the same thing in my Xbox, and then I put it on my PS4 and it worked.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah,
That makes me feel
dude.
better because I
Yeah.
thought of like, did I wear out my Terminator
Nope.
2 disc?
Nope.
Like...
Nope. Same.
you
Because Eric,
terminated it.
we have the exact same Terminator DVD. I put mine
Okay.
in.
All right.
Same thing.
I Windex that shit too. I tried to do the Windex trick. I got my glasses cleaner. I was like, no, don't die on me. Don't die on me.
Nah, it's the format of the Xbox 360. You can't read that. I mean, the Xbox can't
Okay.
read that. Yeah.
Okay.
The only part of this movie where the CGI, not even CGI, the only thing that looks cheesy to me, and it's kind of the same from Terminator 1, is when they kill that security guard in the mental asylum and it goes through his face and you see his face with the thing in it. And I was like, yo, this is the only thing.
It was
Yeah.
cheesy, but the twitching was so good, and it like went through the eye socket, and you're just like, like you feel
I
it,
know.
like
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked if they didn't show it, but I was like, it looks so big. And then the one thing that made me so happy, I don't know if they did this on Netflix, but that THX intro,
No.
I miss that so much. And it did it on my DVD where it's like the liquid metal on the floor turns into the THX logo and then
Right.
it's like,
Yes.
and I'm
Yes.
like, yo, why don't movies have this anymore?
Even the DVD menu screen is sick too, with like the assembly line of Terminators for that
Well,
DVD.
Oh,
for
that's
that
dope.
DVD, if you want to add like subtitles, you click like sensory control.
Oh, you got to go
Like,
crazy. It's
yeah,
like you got to know what you're talking about with that DVD.
yeah.
But it's good stuff.
And then obviously the last like hour is just nonstop awesome. You get where they're
Hmm.
blowing up Cyberdyne, and then when they're fighting in the smelting facility, and it's just like balls
The
to the
helicopter
wall.
chase again, like it's
Oh
so good. When he
yeah,
has the minigun over at Cyberdyne and he's like, "Trust me," and he just goes out there and he just blows up all the cars. It's
yeah,
oh my god, it's
Yeah.
so good.
You got the helicopter crashing into the truck. You got the liquid metal nitrogen splitting edge of your seat stuff for
yeah.
91, Alec, right? I always thought it was 92. 91.
That's 91. Yeah, July 4th,
That's
1981.
bonkers. So that's crazy. But I want to say one more thing that I picked up on watching this again. So Miles Dyson, he did all the work. So in the future, people must look at him like he's Hitler, like he's a terrible person in history that created these monsters, right? He's not a monster. He's a good person. He was trying to do good. And also, there's that scene at the end where he was just shot to shit, right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
he's holding that thing and he has it above it, and he's letting the people know, like, I can only hold it so much longer. Get out. Like that scene is just so like, oh man, like he's a really good person.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
I love that story structure. That's character development. That's insane writing. That to me is awesome.
Well, he's a good dad. He's a good husband. He's a good
He protects his
employee.
kid, and the
Yeah.
realizing, and Linda Hamilton even realizes that like this isn't a bad person. Like
Yeah.
why am
Hmm.
I attacking this man?
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
What do you
Not to
got?
say Hitler is anything great. Like shit, that's not my point at all. I'm just saying.
I was
I'm
about
saying
to say he was a pretty
this movie
good
does a good
artist.
job. This movie does a good job of like playing the history vibe. That's all I'm saying.
Hmm. I was just gonna say that entire scene where they're at Miles Dyson's house is just incredible character development and growth in writing, like you were saying, and it's even better prosthetics and even better in camera visual effects because that entire moment where Arnold rips his skin
Wow.
off and he exposes that skeleton, it's all remote control,
Yeah.
and it's insane because if you look, like I don't know if they airbrush it now, but like you can almost kind of see like the apparatus that Arnold Schwarzenegger had to wear because he had like the way that the camera is framed, all you see is the arm. Like you don't see anything else on the body, and they do that on purpose. So you don't see the stuff that's making it work. But like for 1991, that looked real. Like he just went like the glove does not fit, and he's just bah, like
Yeah. The arm
right
cutting
there.
scene is crazy. Speaking of the
So
glove doesn't
intense.
fit, do you know who was going to be the original Terminator in the first
Oh,
movie?
Jesus.
I've
The
said this before.
juice.
The
The
Juice.
juice is loose.
And you know why they didn't cast him?
Because they didn't believe that he could be a
Yep.
murderous person.
He didn't look like
Wrong.
enough of a killer. They
That's
got
true.
Arnold, the gentle bodybuilder.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's coming everywhere. We talked about this. He's coming. He comes at the gym. He comes at home. He's coming everywhere. It's great.
He's coming at Miles Dyson's house.
Miles Dyson. Yes, we love Miles. Yes, we're good friends.
Um, there's just a couple other big things we need to hit, so we need to go a little over here. But Sarah Connor is one of the most badass female characters
Yes.
to ever touch
100%.
the screen, and also her character development from the first one to this one. It's like I want to see those in between years. I thought that's what the Sarah Connor Chronicles were going to be, was like more of like what
Oh,
happened
the
between
TV
one and
show
two.
with
Mhm.
Summer Glau or whatever her
I
name
thought
is. Yeah.
I thought that was going to be about what happened between 1 and 2, like where she's in Nicaragua and she's like helping John
Yeah.
out, and like I wanted to see that show because I want to see where Sarah goes from being a diner waitress to badass, knows how to shoot a gun after being
Like,
locked up, and
mad her boyfriend isn't picking her up on a Saturday night.
yeah,
Like,
dude,
like
she's so smart when she's in
Yeah.
the hospital. Like every time she leaves that room, she has to be looking at every single thing, being like, all right, I know where all the exits are. I know where the closets are. I know what they do. Like she's so smart, so strong, such a badass. And
well,
I love it.
I think they do a pretty good job bridging that gap of what we missed, because John gives his backstory of what happened,
Yeah.
talks about how he's going from foster home to foster home, how his mom got arrested for trying to blow stuff up. then we go see in Mexico. We see the hideout and
Mhm.
the hidden guns. It shows like what she's been doing.
Right.
So that did a good job. And also at the end of Terminator 1, there's a storm coming. She's heading to Mexico. So that I think it did a good job of
It did. It
in
did the
between.
best it could. It did the best.
Yes.
I'm just happy with how it did the development. It didn't feel rushed. Maybe it's just because some character development that we've seen recently, it's been that like too perfect of a development. But
Mhm.
I think this was just incredible because compared to where she was kind of like the person in distress, the person that needed to be saved in the first movie, the fact that they went complete opposite side on the second movie and she was the one that was helping being the badass, I think was amazing. Like she stepped into almost the Kyle Reese role. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, and James Cameron, pretty progressive. He's having Ripley as doing the same thing, right?
Hmm.
And not that she didn't do that in Alien, but she becomes such a hard badass in Aliens.
And you
And
don't
same with
question
Linda
it.
Hamilton.
You don't even
You
think about it for
you
1 second. You're just
don't.
like,
You
"I
No.
don't.
believe this." Another character I just wanna mention briefly is Silberman.
Oh, I was
What
gonna bring him up.
dude?
Yes, dude. One
Oh,
of my favorite parts is when he realizes she was right all along.
yeah, and he drops the thing out of his mouth when the T-1000 comes through the door. He's just like, "Dude." And tell me this, next time you guys watch it, when he just goes like, "Get her!" When he says that, he sounds exactly like Rex from Toy Story. Just listen to it and
Yeah.
close your eyes like, "Get her!"
Get her. I love that scene. And he's like, come on, Sarah, you're not a killer. I know you. She's like, I believe it, so don't fuck with me. I love that scene when she's like, I'm going to do it this time.
Yeah.
Like, I am. And she's like, open the door. Like,
Dude, and then the cops come and they show the pictures from the police station in 1984, and then they're like, "And these were taken in
yes.
Reseda
And
yesterday."
she knew. She's like, I
Yeah,
gotta get out.
dude,
Like
That's the
he's
moment.
coming.
Like,
what is Silberman thinking then? Like, he must be like, "Oh my god." Like, what the fuck?
well, he wants like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Like, tell us who he is. And she's like,
Why
I
hasn't
told
he
you.
aged?
Yeah.
Dude, and then he's in the third one too, Silberman. So
Well, in the third one, I hated the third one because it made him seem like, I must have been on something must have happened in my brain where I was dreaming while walking. Like he made it seem like he was imagining things.
right.
Mhm.
And I was like, no, you're the one character that's going to be the witness at the end of this movie. That's going to be like she was right all along.
He's the only other actor though that's in the original 3 aside from Arnold.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
him
Mhm.
and Arnold, and that's it, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, how could we not mention the music?
Brad Fidel.
Oh,
Dun, dun,
so
dun,
good.
dun.
Fright Night. Also Fright Night. We talked about him in Fright Night, but Terminator 1 has more of an 80s like techno-y feel.
Yeah,
This has
definitely
an,
like an 80s synth
yeah.
like action like like it's
Exactly. Wow, that's
like
pretty good.
see like Terminator 1 has that single like because it was just a single dude on a Casio, which I love.
Mm.
Just one dude with treble and bass, just and then he hits the like when something's happening, like ominous tones. But like but
It felt like more wow, 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 wow. And this one was like do 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 do.
yeah, like they invested money in a better Ableton system.
Yeah, well,
Like,
it goes from like synth 80s to like we're watching an epic. Like
Welcome to the
sure.
90s. Dude,
it's Judgment Day's here finally. We've been talking about Judgment Day. It's here.
yeah. This is goddamn it. If you have not seen this movie, you have to just stop
Why are
everything.
why are you listening to this if you haven't seen
Yeah.
this movie?
No, but
Right.
Get
this-
out of here.
this
Don't
is
take
a
our word
movie-
for it. Go watch it.
No, but seriously, this is one of those movies where it's like, you know, people are like, "You haven't seen Fight Club, you haven't seen this." This is one of those movies where I'll like be like, "All right."
I
let's
saw this
leave."
when I was 4. I was 4, Alec.
I know.
Parts. Yeah, like
No.
you got to see this movie.
Any last minute thoughts on Terminator 2 Judgment Day?
Let's see. Probably far and away the most emotionally driven action movie I've ever seen. That just really just oh my god, it crescendos at just the perfect moment at the end when he gets lowered into the metal and he gives that thumbs up at the very end when he gets into the the metal.
Yeah.
Like
It's like
look,
it's almost like
let's
I
all be
always,
real. As full-grown men, we still cry when we see that. Like
I look
John
away.
Connor's
I look away.
screaming, like, "You don't have to go. You don't have to go." You're like, "Don't go!" Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then he
I
just
look
gets
away.
lowered into it, and oh my god, the thumbs up, and then the computer system just completely dies, and you see it from his point of view, and then you know it's over, and you're just like, "Oh my god."
It's almost like I'll always be with you. Like
Right.
you've changed me. And that's what the point of the movie is. He learned to not kill people. And the point of the movie is if a machine can learn the importance of human life, maybe we can as humans too.
No.
Wow.
Like no. Well, I mean
No.
that's the issue. We haven't.
We have
And
not. Like,
you know,
Wow.
the roads unpaved, like, you know, she says like all that stuff at the
so
end.
good.
There's still no fate but what we make. So it's like a hopeful ending where like humankind can hopefully overcome not knowing the importance of human life. You know? So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, if you've
Gosh.
seen the first two, honestly, and if you haven't seen the other ones, maybe just stop because they do.
Yeah, they ruin a lot. They ruin
At
a
least
lot.
give Terminator Salvation a try. That's okay. Out of all the other sequels, Terminator Salvation is still pretty damn good.
I haven't seen Genesis because I'm just like I just can't bring myself
Not worth
to
That's
it.
the worst
Yeah.
one. That's
Not worth it.
definitely the worst one.
See, that's a movie we could roast while watching it. Like that, like if we wanted to do like a movie commentary, we could make fun of it all day. It's amazing.
Yeah, and Dark Fate was also like not great. It was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay.
They did bring
Sorry.
Edward Furlong back for that one though, which was really cool.
They also
Kind of.
one more thing. Oh my god, this movie. We can go 4 hours into this, but the Universal ride, the Terminator ride, Universal. Edward Furlong's in that
Oh,
too. Remember that one?
yes. Terminator 3D, like Terminator 2.5.
I was a totally grown ass man when I finally went on that ride, and I was like back to 4 years old. I was like so, and they made Edward Furlong like wear like a bandana. And, oh my god, it was so good.
So
Well, there's
good.
that, and if you also ever want to just fucking hate your life, play the Terminator 2 Judgment Day Sega Genesis video game.
Ooh, just hate
Oh,
your life.
yes.
It is so
And the
hard.
arcade game.
Dude, it's impossible. It's so hard. But yeah, if you ever, want to be miserable for an hour, try that game. Well, Nick, dude, thank you so much. You are
Thank you
fun.
guys.
Obviously we'll have you back in the future, man. Always a pleasure. to have you.
Yeah, Back to the Future. No, I'm kidding.
You'll
We
be
already did
back.
that one.
You'll be back.
We'll be back again.
All right. Well, Erik, I think it's about time.
All right, pulling it up. Sorry, I didn't have it ready. Ready? Spinning. Blade Runner.
Oh, nice.
Dude.
Like, cheers. It's
One of my
Noodles. I want noodles.
I believe we have Joe Testa coming back for this one. which is
Oh my
crazy.
god, I love it, dude. That's so much Joe for one couple weeks.
I know. It's gonna be the Joe show from now on. Well, Nick, thank you again. Thank you everybody for listening in. We have another episode coming out this Monday of our horror movies, and then we'll see everybody next Thursday for Blade Runner.
Woo, Blade Runner.
Hasta la vista.